Hi, I'm Callum Dilietto, and this is the Flock Together podcast in partnership with Destination St John's. We're here today at the Shangri-La, the Shard, London, and I am joined by Liv.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to be having you because we first met, or our entire relationship has stemmed from Fern, your colleague, approaching me to be your mentor.
Yeah. God, it feels like a long time ago now.
Right?
Yeah, a really long time ago.
And I like that. I said to someone the other day, I was like, oh yeah, I used to mentor Liv. And you're like, hold up.
Yeah, but there was no expiration date on this.
This is still happening.
Yeah. I didn't fire you.
Yeah, and I didn't quit. So
there we go.
So
I guess
I'm technically still mentoring you.
Yep.
However, I feel like it's been mutually beneficial.
I think so. In the last year or two, it's definitely been mutual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's been great.
That's great. Well, one of the first that ever, I think it was like 3 months into your mentorship, and was like, do you want to come to the Bahamas?
Yeah, I mean, you really set the bar high. Yeah. I think it was my first fam trip as well. And I was given a week to say whether or not I could go to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And I just remember going to Fern, please let me go. Please let me go. And yeah, that was a life-changing experience, that whole trip.
Yeah, I think just that alone, mentor tick.
Oh my God, yeah.
Done.
Never done the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Incredible.
No,
Incredible.
It was such a good trip. We swam with pigs, we saw an island
And the sharks.
And the sharks.
They were sweet.
And
anyone, don't be scared of nurse sharks, because they are the cutest thing ever.
I wasn't scared, and then one touched my leg, and I think I went, ah!
Yeah, you did.
And squealed very loud.
Yeah, you did. They're literally like dogs. They're like sea dogs.
Sea dogs.
Sea
Great
dogs.
way to put it.
They want to be petted. They're delightful.
The first part of the podcast is remember. Mm-hmm. What was your first ever work trip?
If I'm going to be technical about this, it is actually, and it's so not glamorous, but it was to Staines, which is where our Nteractive offices are.
Staines, lovely.
Staines, yeah, pinnacle of London. And we were doing a lot of virtual events back then. It was sort of the end of COVID. And I was doing roles that were terrifying because I'm not the techiest, to be honest. But we were staying at the Premier Inn, and it was pretty much a, here's the industry, you're ready, and you are staying in Staines. But obviously life has gotten a little bit more glamorous now, but I would say that if I was going to give a more exciting answer, it would be Barcelona, and that was for one of our global tech companies. And it's a massive incentive that we do, nearly 6,000 people across 5 different destinations at the same time. It's absolutely giant, and it's just a huge undertaking, but it's so much fun. And just watching the entire company come together to pull off this amazing, creative, completely immersive experience for those people, it was just fascinating. And I truly remembered in that moment thinking, this is my life now, and I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to be anything else. This is my path. And it was a real pinch me moment. I get quite a lot of those, but that was my first one.
It's funny because most people do an event like that and they say, yeah, this is the career for me. But you are a bit of an event nepo baby in the sense that you've been raised by event professionals.
I have, yeah. For context, my mum and dad had an events company, and I was so lucky that I grew up, some might say lucky, some might say unlucky, but I grew up hearing all about talent requirements and signage and expos and all that around the dinner table when I was probably 7 or 8. There's a really fun story that I like to tell quite often, is that I think I was probably about 6. And my mum used to give me a whole wad of envelopes and a load of printed brochures as well. And she'd ask me to pack them all. And obviously, back in those days, everything was sent off via mail. And so I think she'd give me £1 for every 100 that I'd do. And I would sit there at 6, having no idea what I was doing, but having the best time ever. Because that's a fun thing to do as a kid, right? And I was just there la-di-da-di-da, putting all the things in. But it was so much fun. But they do get jealous now because they're retired, and they are so jealous of all the experiences and the places that I get to go, because they never really got to do much of the travelling. Mm. And now, especially being here, they're like, I just can't believe, you get to do this. We didn't really necessarily get to do this, so... Yeah, I'm very lucky.
I love it. You've taken it and then elevated it. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And they're a great sounding board too.
Yeah.
If I've ever got any issues, they are like, oh, let me help, let me get involved. And the support there is great. And it's funny because a lot of people say when I am on site that their families don't understand that like they aren't going to be available when they're away, and that they constantly like will call them, and you just want to be quiet when you're on site and just live in the world that you are, the little bubble, and they get it. They're like, oh, we haven't heard from her for a week, that's fine. I know she's in some expo hall or some,
She's on site, exactly.
She's fine, I don't need to worry about her, which is really nice from my perspective, so.
And what was your last work trip?
It was only a couple of weeks ago, actually. It was to Amsterdam for a New Balance event. So we actually have a handful of lifestyle brands alongside all of our mainly tech clients, and they're great fun to work with, and it was a really lovely meeting, 90 people in their offices, and it was just lovely. But I must say, it was during that time where they had the massive snowfall, and I was genuinely a little bit concerned that people wouldn't get there. They practically shut down the airport. But it was great fun because I love any environment that isn't like the UK, weather-wise. Like when it's snowing and icy, I'll take that any day because it's fun.
Yeah, it's different.
It's different, exactly. I'll take it.
The next part of the podcast is revisit. So if you could go back in time and relive a destination experience, what would it be?
I thought about this as well, and I did consider the Bahamas, but I thought you'd bring it up anyway, so I thought I'd better keep another one in my pocket. So I was lucky enough last year to go on a once-in-a-lifetime trip to South Africa, and I've been watching a couple of your previous podcasts, and I know South Africa is a very popular destination for a lot of previous people, but I couldn't hide the fact that it was just completely, it changed who I am as a person. I mean, we went to a safari just 3 hours north, I think, of Johannesburg in a private lodge, and I think genuinely it's changed how I think. It has put everything into perspective. I did a complete digital detox whilst I was there. It was heaven. Honestly, I have no words. Sometimes if I'm stressed, I'll get my videos up on my phone and I'll listen to like the bird song. And I'll literally be like, everything's fine. Everything's okay in the world.
I like that I'll sometimes put on a sleep sound of bird song or something like that, but it's fake and fictitious, but you've got the real thing there.
I've got the real deal.
Yeah.
I purposefully went on our last day, our last safari out. I said, everyone be quiet. First off, there's people in this van that aren't my family. Just like, everyone shh. I need to take this video. And I've got like 30 seconds of just that bird song.
Just
and it's
nature.
So pure. It's just so pure. There's no feeling like coming across a lion trying to find its mate. It's just, bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Crazy experience.
And if you could make any hotel a home, what would it be?
I think it kind of stems over. We stayed at this hotel called Mokweti, and it's a tiny lodge. There's only 5 rooms. So you've only got a total of 10 guests there at one time. And there's maybe 5 members of staff, and they wake you up in the morning, 5 a.m., and they take you back to your lodge at night at 10 o'clock, and they are with you the entire day. And they just make your experience so special. And I feel like where home is where heart is, at least for me. And that's why I really tried to embody Mokweti into my life back at home, because I think I could live there forever. I genuinely do. I think I could just become a safari girl, to be honest.
I can kind of see it, to be honest. I can just imagine you just living your best safari life all the time.
I think I probably could. I think I genuinely just cut off everyone from life and just go and be with the animals. It was amazing.
Mentoring might be a little bit harder then.
Yeah, we might have a little bit of a tricky.
But if it means that I have to come and experience a safari every so often, then
exactly. I mean, look, maybe you can expense it.
I think what makes Canada different from other incentive destinations is simply how vast and diverse Canada is. I love the accessibility, cultural diversity, and the ability to create a truly authentic experience. If people want a city vibe, Canada can provide that. If you have adventurers, there is absolutely something here.
My most memorable moment was definitely the kayaking experience. The elements and the conditions were something that I have never experienced anywhere in the world. It was magnificent.
we had this amazing immersive cultural experience. We were looking for mushrooms and for herbs and talking about sustainability. We were listening to music, hearing stories of fishing. It was undescribable how awesome that was.
The next part is reimagine. So this is an opportunity for you to create an incentive trip for yourself. Mm-hmm. Where would you go? What would you do? And which celebrity would you bring with you?
So I've been seeing a lot in social media recently about Montana, and I just feel like it's another place that I could really get down with. I used to love riding horses, and I think the whole lifestyle out in Montana is very much based around the ranching, the singing around the campfire, the nature, and I just feel like I had such an experience as a safari. I think I could repeat that in a totally different environment with the beautiful lakes and the hills. I don't know. I think it would be quite fun. You know, I just feel like Montana would be the place that I would go. I'm seeing it everywhere at the moment with like all the amazing animals.
I like that. That's such a rogue choice. I don't think we've ever had that. But the amount of times I watch these like rom-coms that are set in somewhere in the outback in America, and it's like there's a ranch and you know everyone's like riding horse stuff. I'm like, oh, I'd love to. Like every time I've been to the US, it's a city. I'm going to a city. I've been to a few, but I'm never going into like the country of America. And I think somewhere like Montana, that would be
That's
cool.
the thing. It's a totally different experience to anything that you would normally go. Like you go to cities, right? When do you really go out into the proper countryside and really understand how they live? I just think it would be really fun. I think it would be really fun. And I would take Daniel Ricciardo, which I know is a really interesting choice. He's a retired F1 driver. But I think I would take him because he's very funny, and I don't know if he's ever ridden a horse before, and I think that could be quite entertaining.
I love. In my head, I thought you were going to go for someone who can or does ride horses, but instead you're like, no, I'm going to go for a Formula One driver and put him on a horse and see what happens.
Absolutely, because I think I'd be better at it. Yeah. Like coming from someone who rode for 16 years, I think I would be better at it, and I would like that feeling.
Very clever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well maybe I can teach him something.
Better than you.
And also, I mean, it's funny, isn't it? You know, people think they can get on a horse and ride, but I think it'd be hilarious to watch him do it.
It would be, but also a great person to just chat with.
Oh yeah, I mean he's super fun, super funny. I would love to have a conversation with him any day. I did think about something like Harry Styles, but I thought, a bit obvious, you know. I'm gonna think a little bit out of the box here.
You can have them both. Bring Harry as well.
Both.
There you
Nice.
go.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that.
The next part of the podcast is reform. Mm-hmm. So this is an opportunity for you to write a letter to the industry. What is your letter?
So anyone that knows me knows that I don't drink alcohol. I've never drunk alcohol. It's something that I just don't do. And although I feel like we are getting better at this as an industry, I do feel like there is room for people to grow into understanding more about people that don't drink in the industry. Social evenings, gala dinners, I will ask for, have you got anything non-alcoholic? And I have been told sometimes, oh, we have juice. Like, would you like juice? I'm like, oh, I now feel like a child. Yeah. I now feel like I'm giving a juice box, like a little juice box, and here's your drink. But it's so easy to provide something different. It's not hard. And I think that, I think I read a statistic that 1/5 of adults now don't drink. And it's for so many different reasons. And I think as soon as you are included into a room and you feel like you're drinking something similar to everyone else, you then automatically feel like you're involved in the room. I mean, we recently Nteractive did a global offsite event. It was the first time that we have ever, as a company, been together in one room. It was 150 of us in Dublin a couple of weeks ago. And for one, it was fantastic. But two, they had a sponsor from Visit Belfast, and they provided a lot of cocktail options during the whole couple of days. Their name was Spirit Circle. And they always offered me a mocktail version. And I felt so included by that. They had this amazing experience where it was called Sensorium, and we did a tester of it, where their whole program is they try and understand what type of drink you like. So they go through all your 5 senses, and then they break it down and try and understand what your top tier drink is. And we had sort of A, B, or C to begin with because we only did a small part of the session. And I wasn't expecting for them to have mocktail versions of all three, but they did. And I was like, oh, great, I get to experience this that everyone else is having. And I just feel like, it's one of those things that we can do better on.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, I go in and out. Like, last night when we were all together, I didn't drink. But again, they did have some good mocktail options here. And I think that in itself, yeah, you do feel like you're a bit more included then. But when you do have just like a Coke or something and everyone else has got like normal drinks, so Tom Holland's done well at like releasing his own sort of alcohol-free beer, and I think having a celebrity endorsement, a popular celebrity endorsement saying like I'm pushing towards non-alcoholic beverages, I think that helps, and there is definitely a movement there, and I think Gen Z, I think there's you said about one in five, but Gen Z is definitely pushing it much further than that, so that the scales will start to tip and it will become more and more common for people not drinking, and events need to kind of be more inclusive of that. But it's the detriment of not being inclusive that people undervalue. They think, oh, it's okay, most people like to get drunk, it's an awards or whatever. But it's just the psychological impact of feeling excluded is bigger than people, I think, realise.
Yeah, it's funny because you automatically think someone's not necessarily thought about me. They've gone, oh, well, we'll just offer softs and that'll be fine. And then you feel, okay, well, that's kind, but I'd quite like maybe a non-alcoholic Prosecco, like we had yesterday, and that was delightful. And you know how excited I was when they did me a virgin pina colada at the bar.
You were giddy.
It's just my favourite thing, So when people do put that extra effort in, I then automatically feel in the room. I'm there, I'm with everyone else, I'm holding the same can as everyone else, I'm holding the same glass as everyone else, and it just helps conversations. It just really does. So that's my one thing, I would say.
I think it's a very good letter, and it's apt because I've known you for years now, and I've been at events with you, and you're great fun, and it's when if you're holding a juice, suddenly it just makes people go, oh, what's going on here? Why is that? And it becomes a topic of conversation that doesn't need to become a topic, or people are like, oh, I'm getting too drunk around her, or then they feel, and it's actually like, do you know what? Let's
level the playing field. Yeah. I think that's the thing, and I don't necessarily feel this way because I've never had to answer to people. They just assume that she's not drinking because that's who she is. But I definitely had friends that have said to me, I'm doing other dry January, but maybe not in January, maybe May or whatever. I'm not sure. But people will say to them, are you feeling all right? And they'll get like 100 questions on why they're not drinking. And some of them are really personal. And it's like, I thought we'd moved past this as, a group of people at this point, but clearly not. And, it does take the conversation away from the important topics that need to be spoken about, especially at industry events. Yeah. I'm with you there, 100%.
The final part of the podcast is a quick fire round of questions. So, here we go. Packing, last minute or week before?
The day before. I'm going to give you a third option.
The day before feels pretty last minute to me. So
okay, fine. We'll do last minute.
Yeah,
we'll do last minute.
Yeah. Carry on or check in?
Oh, can I have both? Oh, this is
That's check in.
No, yeah, but it's check in. But then when I do an international flight, I have to bring a little suitcase because I get really cold on planes.
Okay.
So I have like a hoodie. People that work with me that I travel with always take the mick out of me because they'll turn around on their plane seat and see me with 3 jumpers on, 2 blankets, like fluffy socks, completely zoned out of whatever's going on. And without that, I just can't do long haul flights.
I do get it, and like I've started to, when I do fall asleep on planes, I've started to put the blanket over my head.
Oh.
I'm covering my entire body because the aircon would get into my throat. So I'm like, if I can cover my entire body, but then if I was just a random passenger and I walk past, I'm like, is that man dead?
Yeah, have they just covered him up for some reason?
I think they do that.
They do that.
So I'm like, I should probably move occasionally, but honestly, I get it because it can be quite cold on long haul flights.
Yeah, and it does mess with your throat. I feel like when we were flying with COVID, when everyone was wearing masks, it felt better because that air wasn't going directly into your throat.
So true. Airport lounge or shopping?
Lounge.
Aisle or window?
Aisle, 1000%.
City or nature?
I'm going to have to stick with nature.
I was going to say.
Because that would be weird if I started talking about city breaks.
All of your answers have
That
been
wouldn't
very
make sense.
nature related.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lay-in or early start?
Lay in. Easy. Easy.
And honest as well.
So easy.
I feel like so many people try to be like, oh yeah, no, early start. You're
oh
like,
my
no,
God,
lay-in.
absolutely not.
Poolside or seaside?
Pool. The beach. It's too much sound. Kind of freaks me out.
Planned or spontaneous?
Planned. When I go on holiday, I have an itinerary and a spreadsheet.
Stop it.
I spreadsheet everything.
A spreadsheet for your holiday is
Yeah.
crazy. Breakfast, hot or cold?
Hot.
And hotel, room service or restaurant?
That's tricky. Restaurant, I think.
Kind of swaying towards room service though.
Only a little bit. I wouldn't have a room service dinner, but I like a room service breakfast sometimes. But I feel like I like dressing up to go out for a nice meal. So
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with restaurant. I think that's my final answer. I'm going to lock it in.
Lock it in.
It's locked. Final answer.
Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure. And you know what? It's actually been a pleasure to see how you've progressed in your career over the last couple of years. Like,
Aw.
from my perspective, like you've just been smashing it. And you know, you're doing incredible things. So
Thank you. All with your help along the way.
a smidge.
Just a tiny bit.
Barely.
Just a tiny bit.
Well, thank you for being part of the Flock Together community.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's been amazing.